Today we'll be talking about the Yummy Yummy no Mi, otherwise known as the Revive fruit. This is a paramecia type devil fruit, which enhances the user's soul to a point where they can resurrect after their first death, allowing them to live a second time. And in addition, use several other soul-based abilities, making the user a reviving human. This fruit was eaten by the wonderful skeleton Brook. Now we'll be talking about the origin of the word. The name is derived from Yomigaru, meaning to be revived or resurrected. Yomi, name of the Japanese underworld, also a reference to this fruit's powers. And both the Viz Manga and Funimation dub both called this the Revive fruit. So we'll be talking about the appearance of the fruit, the Yummy Yummy no Mi, this spherical shaped golden fruit with a green stem on its bottom. It has four stubby growths, making the shape resemble a skull, as shown here. As with most devil fruits, it has the typical swirl pattern throughout. So now we'll be talking about the major strengths of the fruit. As demonstrated by Brook, is that it gives its user another chance at life, dying once before, and allowing a literal second chance of living after death. The user continues to exist in whatever state they were revived as, and continue to exist in whatever state they were revived as, and can even go as far as granting a form of immortality, less until the user suffers a second death. However, since the main attribute of this fruit is resurrection, the Yummy Yummy no Mi powers remain dormant until the time when the consumer suffers his or her first death. As a result, until such time, any aspects the fruit bestows upon its eater are the typical devil fruit weaknesses. While the fruit allows the user's soul to once again return from the afterlife, it does not automatically return them to the physical body that it once resided in during its mortal life. Thus, it is then up to the disassembled soul to search for the corporeal body in order to once again reunite with it. Though the user gains another life, the body, however, will continue being a lifeless corpse, will continue rotting away until the user's soul can find its way back to the body. When the user's soul returns to the body, the power of the devil fruit will fortunately support the user's well-being in the case of the body may be in a condition unable to support life. While the fruit can make the user an undead being of sorts, it however grants the user the ability to still feel pain, prove that they have been truly resurrected back to life, regardless of what physical condition they've been revived in. This is noteworthy. It separates the power of the Yummy Yummy no Mi from the zombies created by the Kage no Mi. Although both powers work to make the dead come alive again, the Kage no Mi, the zombies, don't feel pain because they are not truly alive at all. However, the susceptibility to sensations seem to be selective, since Brook was able to traverse Punkazid's frozen terrain without any sign of discomfort, while the rest of the Straw Hats was shivering in comparison. It may also possibly be that Brook's immune to damage that is based on impacting one's tissue, as he carried a petrified Kinnaman out of the new compound without much incident. But before that, one of Smiley's blobs hissed gas on his face. He wasn't affected, although he acted as his eyes were itching until he remembered he didn't have eyes anymore. Another case of this comes from Brook showcasing immunity towards electricity, towards electrocution, at least in 2 different occasions. Brook demonstrated a new power of his devil fruit on Fishman Island. After the time skip, Brook's soul that came back to inhabit his skeleton is still able to leave the body, usually by exiting his mouth, similar to the astral projection Corona has, and move it anywhere he wants it to. It can even pass through walls similar to Perona, and in the anime it was shown as Brook muttered bone multiple times like a mantra of some sort, and then his spectral form leaves through his mouth, leaving his body seemingly colorless. When Brook is in his spectral form, mostly resembles his skeletal face, complete with the omega letter-shaped crack across his forehead, and is engulfed in spiritual flames. It appears to be not only visible, but also audible to both people and animals, since Zoro and Usopp were seen able to converse with Brook while in this form. And Papag, shown scampering away from Brook in this state, mistaking the skeleton soul as a ghost. Therefore, frightening starfish. It is currently unknown as of how far the extent that Brook can maintain the separation of his soul from his body, or if there are any limits at all. However, the main weakness to this ability is that while Brook has his soul out of his body, he can't use or move his physical body, and has to have someone guard him so Brook doesn't get harmed, very similar to Perona. During his fight with Zio, Brook reveals that in the past 2 years, he's come to know the true power of his devil fruit. The soul of a human that died is supposed to go into the land of the dead, stay there, but for his soul to exist, the human world, to emit a powerful energy. Therefore, the powers that allow him to live in the human world is neither organs or muscles, but rather his soul. As long as his bones are not injured or hurt, any attack will not go to his core. And when Zio beheaded Brook, his soul managed to repair it and connected his bones together again. He is also displayed and transfer the energy to an object, like his cane and sword, in which he summons the chill of the underworld, allowing him to freeze his opponents. Lastly, he has stated that he can feel the soul of others when mixed with the music, and when mixed with his music is able to move them. This fruit also gives the user certain advantages over other devil fruit users. For example, the Sorosoro no Mi. Brook is capable of using the raw energy and presence of his own powerful soul to overwhelm the homies due to them being created from small pieces of souls that do not belong to them. The effect of this are visually similar to Shokuhaki. It renders the homies unconscious and immobile. Its advantage is decreased against homies made from Big Mom's own soul, as Brook cannot overwhelm them. He is capable of injuring them, at least. While the fruit's only major bestowed power, only usable after death, secondary power, however, are rather useful in keeping Brook basically alive. Through the fruit's powers, Brook is able to function surprisingly without any effort. Without the presence of vital body parts that have decomposed a long time ago, he is able to interact with the environment around him without the presence of eyeballs or any other sensory organ to aid him. He in particular retains his ability of speech despite vocal cords, and even his windpipe having long since rotted away. He is bizarrely able to taste and digest food, like any other normal living thing, sustain himself, and oddly enough, drinking milk in particular heals him as the calcium intake repairs any of Brook's bones that may have been broken in battle, depending on the situation. Brook is also able to produce organic matter such as tears, fecal matter, and blood from his nose, despite not having any organs nor bodily liquids to produce such matter. Although some of these incidences be an overall gag on Oda's part, Brook is able to move and stand in the presence of tissue and muscles that support him, while as being capable of getting tired or worn down, despite not having any of those factors to begin with. Due to the fruit's powers, holding up and moving like skeletal frame, Brook is given an extremely light body, performs seemingly superhuman feats, such as jumping extremely high, and even being able to run on water, which is pretty much a no-no for most devil fruit users. These feats allow him to travel great distances, and also aid him in battle. However, while his light body lets him be lighter than an average person, Brook is not immune from sinking. Brook will still sink like any other devil fruit user when placed in water. In fact, while Brook can run on water, he cannot stand above it for too long. Being a skeleton animated by the fruit's powers also allow Brook to do things that most other people wouldn't be able to do due to their need of tangible living tissues. Not only is he able to use his light weight to execute fast attacks, but his lack of flesh also allows him to execute attacks that would otherwise be harmful, such as shocking himself with electricity and becoming an electrical charged projectile. And having no flesh and organs gives Brook a great advantage against carnivores, even though it will still make him angry, such as the dragon at Punk Hazard. The dragon was chasing Brook. Since he was only bones, the dragon ignored him, and Brook got rather frustrated at this. On the contrary, Canine Minx, who loved to gnaw on bones and to chase after him due to his physiology. Due to the lack of organs, Brook is able to withstand some deadly attacks to a certain degree. For instance, he was able to withstand his skull being shattered and several of his ribs broken. Also, due to the devil fruit's powers allowing it, Brook has the ability to store objects in the skull by opening it along the crack, which is a good place to hide precious treasures or etchings. Or Brook is able to do things because the devil fruit's deported form. He, however, still feel pain, as well as fatigue. However, the fact that he lacks the actual organs, Brook can forego most of the necessities required by humans, for example, eating, breathing, etc. He stayed up on his old ship for a long time with nothing to sustain himself with. Based on his own statement and comment, despite the lack of any muscles or fibers, it appears that he's able to grow stronger through normal training. Though Brook is able to repair broken bones, believes that all growth functions have stopped. For this reason, Brook puts a lot of effort into protecting his afro, since he would be unable to grow it back if it was unfortunately cut or burnt off. However, Brook's beliefs were incorrect, as he grew 11 centimeters during the 2-year time skip, separated from the crew. After developing the ability to remove his soul from his body, Brook uses the intangibility advantage ladies, as well as escaping imprisonment of any kind, or contacting other people for assistance in scouting out things. After the 2 years of training, Brook has mastered the use of the devil fruit to an extent of knowing its true nature. He reveals that in order for his soul to remain here in this world, produces a unique and powerful energy that is almost physical in form. He has also mastered the energy soul emits, to the extent that he can retain his bones by using this energy. Brook can engulf objects such as swords with this energy, and in the process summon the chill of the underworld. Here are some anime and manga differences. Brook's soul was originally yellow in the anime, instead of being white and light green as in the manga. The anime colors were later updated to match the mangas, and also in the anime, and separating his soul from his body, he performs an eerie, ritualistic chant. First he shouts, da 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 da, and then chants bone over and over. And finally, some trivia. Brook's soul, upon returning to the mortal realm, search for his body resembles a hitodame, a representation of the recent deceased commonly found in Japanese folklore and pop culture. And so far, this is the only known devil fruit that requires some sort of condition to fully activate. In this case, the user must die to trigger the effect. In addition, this is also the only devil fruit not returned to circulation immediately after the user's death. As of now, Brook is the only Straw Hat Devil Fruit user who doesn't have any named Devil Fruit attacks. However, Brook does have several named swordsmanship techniques that involve the usage of the fruit's abilities.